Well, I've been sitting here waiting to see if the season review would come up, and it has not come up yet, even though the season in the league is officially over. I'll give you a quick look here and show you kind of what's going on here, just in case it doesn't ever come up. So we go over to the competitions. We have successfully conquered all, and we have won. Tainan City, Taiwan Steel ended up playing in the relegation playoff, and I believe that they won. We can take a quick look here and see. Yeah, they did. They tied the first match against National Taiwan University of Sport 1-1. And the second one, away at wherever they were playing at, they won 5-4 in a really exciting match that they won with a final goal in the 96th minute. So so much for any thoughts that we had of maybe like jumping in and stealing away some of these players. I'm not sure that there are a whole lot of these players we really want to steal away. I mean, a lot of these are people that we've looked at before, and we got inconsistent big matches problems and all sorts of stuff, so we're not even going to bother with that. Anyway, that's kind of what's happened there. We won the league, won by 11 points, 53 points for us, 17 wins, 2 draws, and those 2 losses. And I don't think those 2 losses are going to happen again. When you look over here at the league and at the top leaders, Nene actually was number 2 in goal scoring behind Huang Chuyuan, and this guy is a real wonder kid. 17 years old is this guy from AC Taipei. In his first full season, scored 31 goals and 21 appearances with a 7.53 average rating. And is it going to tell me much about his form? It's not. But this guy is excellent for the most part. I do have a thing on him, and it's his inconsistency. So apparently that hasn't really bothered him yet, but at some point in time it will. And this just goes to show you that you do get really good players who come up through the youth ranks. He has, it says 10 caps there. I'm just wondering, is there a way that we can see he is an international? That is for sure. I'm not quite sure if there's a way that I can see only what he's done internationally. I'm guessing not. There's probably some other thing I can do. If I click here, go over to the national team, I'm pretty sure that we're going to find him over here somewhere. Yeah, Huang Chuyuan, there he is, right at the bottom. And so that's pretty interesting to know, right? Football Manager will come up even in countries like Taiwan with players who are excellent new gens, even in the places where you least suspect it. So Huang Chuyuan leading the league in goals scored. Assists, Silla ended up only with 8, so he was actually third. I mean, tied with Chang Yuwen for second, and behind Cai Xiangwei. This is really interesting because we outscored Athletic Club Taipei in the end. Nene, as a result, only had 6 players in the match awards as opposed to the 7 for Huang Chuyuan. Average rating, though, of course, Nene had 7.69, and as far as clean sheets go, actually, Lai Bolon only had 4. It's because Li Chaba was there for so much longer, and Cho Li Wei ended up having more. Cho Li Wei, another player I'm not sure I know much about, 17 years old, and you can see there the inconsistency, which is why we will not touch him. I think that Cai Xiangwei, no, he is not so inconsistent. I wonder if we've had this guy before. We have, and then for some reason I got rid of him, which is probably why he probably is not exactly happy about the prospect of coming to sign for us. Oh, no, look at this. We can sign him. In fact, let's go ahead and do that. So we'll go ahead and sign you. It's kind of funny. I don't really care what position he plays. Yeah, he can play up in the front. So that might actually be a really key signing for us if we can get that guy up in the front and get him some appearances in continental football. That might help out a little bit. Chang Yuwen, this guy also has a little flag. It's because of his inconsistency, and he's also injury prone. So maybe we have to worry about these guys. Maybe we don't. I don't know. We'll go back through here and take a quick look and see all of these awards. Nanek Naziri ended up with the Most Valuable Player Award. I think it's based on that 7.69 average rating and his 24 goals, 4 assists, and 18 appearances, which normally would have led the league. But of course did not because of that wonder kid that Football Manager decided to make. And you can see here he was second in terms of the Golden Boot. Number 3 was Huang Runwen, who is a name that you should recognize. He played for us for a little while and then never actually played a game. In fact, we paid money for him to get him from Chinese Petroleum, and then they got him for free. So how about that? And I think I must have released him, which is why he would rather not play for us. At least at the time, for right now. We might be able to get him later on. Goal of the year was not from Menegon, but rather from Lin Mingwei, who apparently had a really good-looking goal. We won't worry too much about that. I won the Coach of the Year award and got a lot of praise for doing that. And this is the real interesting part where we had a number of players in the best 11. And the interesting part here is that all of our players ended up being in the back. So Feng Xiaochi, who I would never choose to be in the best 11, and then Cai Yuting, who was all right, Huang Chiwei, who also I think was all right. Interesting that Kader Bamba is not listed here. I guess this is only for Taiwanese players. That's what it looks like here. And then Menagong, of course, on the right side. Oh Wei, I don't suppose he would be interested in coming to play for us, would he? I think we're actually scouting him right now, so we'll check that out and see if we can get him. And this is one of those things that you do. I mean, you want to go through these awards when they come up every year and just look and make sure. In our case, yeah, we've looked at just about all of these guys. There's always something wrong with them that makes it so that we don't necessarily want to grab them. So that's what it's been so far. Here in like the AFC Cup, if we look at what's going on, we still have matches to play. Nene's tied for second in number of goals scored. First in assists is Menagong. He didn't even play in the last match. Average rating, Nene is second and Menagong is third. And we haven't had that many clean sheets here, but we're doing pretty well, all things considered. I mean, we can look through and see, is it going to... yeah, we're going to have to look here. We want to take a look at the East Asian. So we did the East Asian playoff already. East Asia zone is what we won, and we go look at all the groups. If we do wind up winning out, and I think we will, we would play against Kiguancha, and this would be another match in North Korea. I think it's two-legged. I don't know. We'll find out if we win. I should say when we win. This is another semi-professional club in North Korea who finished first last season. So we would really be up against it if that were the case, playing another very, very strong team in a league that is probably stronger than ours. If we look at their senior squad schedule for this season, I mean, they've played all right, haven't they? Let's take a look and see what happened here. Yeah, they ended up in fourth place. So behind April 23rd, 25th. No, I'm sorry, that's this current season. You can see they've only had really one match played. We probably have to look into last year's season, and they were seventh place, actually. So, I mean, we may end up having better luck if we end up playing against them in the final for East Asia. I don't know. We'll see what happens. And, of course, if we can win that final, what would happen then is we would go into this... let's see here. Then we would go into this weird interzone playoff semifinal and then into the final. I do want to take a look here and just see. I think that this is two-legged. Starts on February 7th, ends February 14th. So I think that it's home and home. I'm not seeing anything else that's kind of odd going on. The nice thing is that if we get to this point, even if we lose, we get 252,000 euros, which is pretty good for a team that only has 137,000 euros in the bank, right? So you can see how, it's helpful to have a good, strong, and young team that you can build off of. That's another thing really to note here really quick before we end. I mean, we're going to hold on to Leibold because goaltenders age differently. And Yao Guoqi was not a player that we were ever really going to design a team around anyways. We're not going to worry too much about him. Chen Chengji, we're probably going to end up with somebody else. You look over the development center, it says that nobody's showing up here as being really good. But we look at, some of these guys, I don't know, Zhen Yuehan or someone like that who could potentially play in that position, teach him a little bit more and see what we could do. So we may end up making a couple of changes there. Cai Yuting, as good as Cai Yuting has been when we look at his form, I'm not always convinced by him. I mean, this is all friendlies and stuff like that. We'll take a look and just see how he's been in the league. I mean, he's been all right. Maybe we will hold on to him. He's definitely a leader, too, in the clubhouse. There are a lot of people on the social media stuff that pops up in between who say they want to get rid of him. Feng Xiaochi is really the one that I kind of want to get rid of. But again, when we look at his performance, at least lately, it's been pretty good. Even in the AFC Cup, for a guy who is doesn't like big matches, he's played fairly well. So we might keep hold of him for some time and sort of see what happens. Other than that, though, we're pretty much set. I mean, there's not a whole bunch of major changes that we want to make. I mean, we can look here at the under-18s at who will be coming up. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 guys probably who would need to find places, but 2 of them are goaltenders. One is this Hu Shichan, who was playing up front before. We're trying to teach him now how to play a little bit further back. and the other one is Shen Yuting, who played in the back for us before, and I mean, that's about it. They're still saying that these players are off a first team level. Believe it or not, I mean, we haven't done any loans yet so far. We might need to loan some of these players out to get them some time to actually develop. So, I mean, we'll see what happens. There's a lot of things that can happen still. We still have to win this next match, which you will see tomorrow. But assuming that we do win it, it will be really interesting to see how this moves forward. Because we have a good, strong, young team that we might be able to establish something with. So even though I don't think we're going to win the Asian Champions League, this is an excellent way for my in-game persona to have a pretty strong foundation for moving on to large clubs elsewhere. As I've said before, when we go back to Oceania, really what we want to do is we want to find a fully professional club, maybe in New Zealand or something like that, and get that Champions League in as soon as we can, and then we can start hopping around, go to a larger African country, go over to like South Korea, something like that, and get some of the easy stuff done so that we can start focusing on the hard stuff out west. So anyway, that's the plan so far. I'll talk with you later. Bye.